I welcome you to Bible Times. I'm Willard Pless. And boy, I tell you, there's so much happening here that it's hard to keep up to do these things and talk about things that are important that we're looking at here. And we're going to do our best to talk about what's going on, what the Bible's talking about, what the Bible's giving. And I want to talk a little bit today about Jesus extending this generation. Now, we're in the sixth generation, or the sixth millennial, I might say. But the generation, it talks about Israel, the generation for Israel. And we know that the generation for Israel started back in 1924 is when the generation started. And we learned that the generation is for 100 years. That a generation goes on for 100 years, and that's for the kingdom of God. And we've already talked about some of this, and we know that that the generation has been extended, even though that when we come to May the 14th here in 2025, that the generation ended. That was the 100th year when Israel celebrated the time back in here in May on the 14th, that the generation, that was the end of the generation. But see, Jesus extends generations. You have to understand that. You look back to other generations, and all the other generations, the 5 generations, or the 5 millennials, See, each millennial has 10 generations in it. And we have to understand that. That means there's 10 100 years that's in there. That's in a millennial. And we have 7 millennials. The 10 generations, maybe I'll get it right here in a minute. Each millennial has 10 generations in it. And God extends generations. He can even extend the millennial if he wants to. But we know he extends generations because he don't want anybody to be lost. And Peter talked about that in his book in 2 Peter chapter 3 there, when he was talking about the millennials, that one day is 1,000 years and 1,000 years are one day. That's the millennial. But the millennial has 10 generations in it. And the first millennial run from Adam to Abraham. That's how long it went. And each generation was extended. And it went on for 2,050 years, which that was actually 2 millennials, but it doesn't work that way. The millennial is extended until the end of the extending. So we learn that Jesus has extended this generation, even though that it came to 100 year on May the 14th here in 2025. But you read that in Matthew 24, and you realize that he said that the generation's not going to end until all the signs be fulfilled. Now, when come into the generation, see what the Bible means by fulfilling Bible signs. The Bible means that's when it shows up. That's not talking about when it's finished. See, the signs, all the signs had showed up by May the 14th here. And, but they got more time to go. And that's what Jesus is talking about there in Matthew chapter 24. And see, he talked about how that this generation would be extended too. And we have to realize that. And so we know some things are coming up here pretty soon. And we talked about some of this. Some of the deadlines are coming about here pretty quick. We know that the budget has been set until September the 30th. And we understand that that there's not going to be another agreement when it comes to setting the budget by September the 30th, that the financial system's going to crash. And it's going to bring about a bitter time in this world. And Revelation chapter 10 teaches that it's going to bring a bitter time in this world. And you might say, well, now when we look at all this and understand it's falling apart, what do we do? Well, you just trust Jesus. That's what you need to do. He's in control of everything. Don't get all out of whack, because he's still in control. See, when this thing collapses, that's got set up here in this world with Satan being in leadership, see, when all this collapses, then Jesus is going to be in control then. So, see, he's the one that's fed everybody anyway. It's not the government. He's the one that set up everything. The government didn't set it up on its own. He's the one that led in that, and he's the one that got it all set up the way it was. He's the one that brought that about. And so you don't have to worry. I remember I seen where some feller said, well, you better be concerned about cutting off of Medicaid, because that's going to cause a lot of trouble. And he said, you better hope Jesus can extend Medicaid. See, some people don't realize that Jesus is in control of all of it anyway. When you walk with Jesus, you don't have to worry about things. He taught that. He talked to the disciples. He told them, said, you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat or what you're going to wear. He said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these other things will be added. So do what you're supposed to do. Don't get all tore up. Now, if you're in the thing that's going on in this world, and you love the things of the world, sure, you're going to get shook up. Revelation chapter 18 teaches that the people that are concerned about worldly things, and when this thing collapses, that they're going to weep and howl and cry, because they're not able to buy and trade anymore, and they're gonna look at this thing as being horrible. But I'm glad it's coming. I'm glad this world is getting to the end of what we've been in. I'm glad that the Bible teaches that there's going to be a seventh millennial. We're in the sixth millennial now, and this millennial has been shortened for 215 years. And we're in year 785 right now. This millennial started in 1240 AD. And you add 785 years onto that, and you come to 2025. See, we're in the last year. And you might think, well, this is going to end here pretty soon. But see, you have to realize the Bible calendar does not end till April. See, the Bible calendar runs from April to April. So you look at 2025 as running from April to April. I know Gregorian calendar takes it from January to January, but that's not the Bible calendar. See, 2025 didn't actually start until April the 8th. And this is when Satan came to this world. In 2024, he came to this world. And when we come to April, whenever the full moon is, or the new moon comes, and we start April, see, that's when the year ends. That the month of April is the month of Nisan. That is going by the Bible calendar. I don't know if you studied this or not, but anyway, that's the way it works. God's calendar is what the Bible goes by, and it runs from April to April. We started April, I think, on March the 29th, that we started April this year. And that's the month of Nisan. And it will go on until April comes, and as we look at the Gregorian calendar in 2026. So things are happening. Things are taking place, and you don't have to get all disturbed about everything. If you're walking with Jesus, you don't have to be afraid. He told the disciples many times, he said, fear not. You remember when they were out there in the boat and the storm came, and he was down in the boat asleep, and they woke him up because they were afraid, and he told them, he said, oh, you've little faith. You don't have to be afraid. You with me, you don't have to have fear. So walk with Jesus. You won't have to have fear. You don't worry about what you're going to eat and what you're going to wear, because he's got it all under control. He's the one that's fed this world and gave us our abilities to be able to work in this world and do jobs, and see, he's the one that's controlled all that. When you come into this world, you got old enough to work, and they were jobs there for you, and who provided all that? Jesus did. It wasn't Uncle Sam. See, Jesus is the one that provides everything. And you got to learn to trust him. You don't have to worry about things if you trust Him. It may look a little scary sometimes, but I've been there too. I know how it is to come down to the very end and look like you're not going to know where the next meal's going to come from. But it shows up because He's in control. He fed Elijah out there in the wilderness by the ravens, so you don't have to worry about things. So we're getting in here, and we're going to talk about things, and I hope you can stay with us. It looks like our time's gone there, but we want to keep them about 15 minutes or so, and so I'm going to close here, and I just wanted to talk about this and warn you, don't be afraid. Walk with Jesus, fellowship with Him, and you won't have to worry about anything. So God bless you, and you have a great day.